All right, let's get started. So first, we're gonna do VS Code Zoom, and then let's click over here and run AppleScript run script. As you can see, that was kind of jank. I have to manually click and manage both scripts. I don't really like that. So what we're gonna do here is create a main.ts to automate this. Instead of running both manually, I want to run each individually. So we're gonna do that by creating our own little command line interface, a CLI, using Node version 19.9's parseArgs. Okay, so where we're gonna start is an import parseArgs as well as promisify. And these will come from node util. Then we have exec, and we're gonna actually name this as E, and I'll explain why we're doing that a little later. And then one more, okay. Actually, I forgot one step, so we're gonna go into our toggle, and something I wanna do here is I wanna wrap this into a function. And let's do that. It's as easy as this. And we're gonna do an export function, toggle zoom. And this is gonna take a zoom of string. I'll show you why in a sec. And then we're gonna plop that in here. Actually, we can remove that for now. Yeah, cool. So we move that into a toggle function, and we're gonna actually then import that into this script. So toggle zoom from, great. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is do a const args is equal to parseArgs, and then this takes an object, and we're gonna call this options. And then in options, I actually wanna have the zoom variable, and you'll see why. This type, we're gonna be string, and then short for zoom. Now that we have this, we can actually check this out. We'll do a console log of args. Now that we're in here, we can run this main function. So it's npm run dev. Remember, we changed dev in our package.json. And so if we run this, you're gonna see it has our values and our positionals. And so we can actually, we're gonna destructure that. So we have values and positionals is equal to args. And now let's console.log that, and not much is gonna change here. But where the fun comes is if I do a hyphen, which is telling Node that we want to pass our script, command line args, and then we do zoom, and then let's just say in. Boom, you see that? Zoom is in. We can do anything here, and we could actually, remember, we can do a little z for short, and again, throw a string in there. Oh, that's interesting. Cool, so you can actually do z without the equal sign. And then if we do a 1, it looks like it actually immediately types that to a string. So we're gonna use this value. So we're gonna say if, well, actually I'll do a const zoom is equal to top values dot zoom. And now if zoom exists, if it's not undefined, we're gonna wanna run this toggle zoom function. So let's just see what happens when we run this. So we're gonna just run without zoom. And now if we run zoom, I'm gonna do the explicit, and let's just say test. Boom, it runs our value. But then we can run it again, it resumes. And that's pretty cool, we're starting to get there. I'm actually, for this tutorial, I'm actually gonna just do, exec, and no promisify. And what we can do here now is we can actually exec and do an OSA script, and then we can do a toggle cursor size.apple script. And so this is now also running this script. So exec is a node function that spawns a shell that then executes the command within that shell. So in this case, this is our command. So it's the equivalent of running it here in a terminal, but programmatically. And now if you run this, it automates both aspects. That's pretty cool, right? So we're almost there. One last thing I want to do is manage this zoom value. So I'm actually going to pass this into these, and we'll change this into, I don't actually know the name, but these little checks, so we can pass zoom into our script as well. And we're going to use this because I want to be able to call zoom in or zoom out and have the expected functionality occur. So let's do that in our toggle zoom. First we'll give it a zoom, and we'll say this is a string. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move these into a little option value. So let's do zoom options. I'll do in is 5 and out is 2. And then I want to use these. So we're going to use those here. Remember we did this Boolean logic? We can actually simplify this and just say it's equal to zoom options of zoom. And then let's just clean this up. And this is good, except there is a bug. So let's just say of nothing. Let's say A, maybe that's it. Yeah, there we go. So it actually defaulted to 1. So if and that's not good. So we want, we can give it zoom and it should work. Great. But we want to handle that edge case of if somebody gives it a string that's not in or out. So I'll just do a check is if zoom options of zoom is valid, then we can run this. And now let's try and give it a random string. Oh. Shoot, you know what? Okay, so the problem here is it's also running through our exec script. And so that just reminded me, we want zoom in. Let's make that cursor bigger again. And that reminded me that we want to pass in the zoom argument to our Apple script as well. So let's go into toggle cursor. And the way we can do that is by wrapping this entire script into onRunArgv, and then at the bottom do an end run. And now let's go up and tab that, and then we can say, instead of this logic, we can delete this and say if item 1 of argv is equal to in, then we increase size. Else, if item 1 of argv is equal to out, then we decrease size. And so so now we're able to pass it the zoom string, and let's see how that handles a random value. So it still spawns our system settings. So one way to manage this is with a little bit of conditional logic. We're going to say set zoom options to in as well as out. And then we'll say if item 1 of argv is in zoom options, then. And so this, and then we can move all this out, and at the end here we'll say an end if. So this conditional logic will now, let's see here, it'll make sure, so if we do a zoom in, it should be, oh, yeah, I see I missed something, I forgot the mouse. So anyways, zoom in, it's good, zoom out, looks good. And zoom in's good as well. So that's great. Let's try something random. Nothing. Cool. No system options. Great. All right. There's just one more thing I want to do, and that is this thing. I want to tell application Visual Studio Code to activate. So that wasn't here before. So by doing this at the end of our script, it's going to quit system settings and actually move back to Visual Studio Code. So without this, let's just delete it. And we do a zoom in. So remember, it moves over here, and that's it. It just ends to whichever screen. But if we add this tell application Visual Studio Code activate, that will refocus on Visual Studio Code. So here, again, we zoom in, and then boom, it tabs right back over. I didn't do anything there. So this is just an extra layer of convenience that I just found recently, so I figured I'd add it in. So again, here we are, running everything programmatically. So now we have our zoom in and zoom out. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.